Hi guys and welcome to Bomb Anime.
It's your girl Ruka.
And Big Boy Sammer here bringing you Summertime Render, also known as Summertime Rendering. Hot or not?
Creativity. So this one really threw me for a loop actually, because we saw Shin have this weird dream and then he wakes up and he goes back to his hometown and we think that it's some kind of murder, and it looks like the one police officer on the island is in on it, like he's covering up evidence. But then right out of left field, it's some kind of paranormal stuff going on. They've done a good job at throwing you off.
Yeah, for me, I thought it was like, I got the horror vibes quite early on, but I didn't expect it to be like this. I thought it was like, you know, like Pet Sematary, that kind of horror where you've got that old weird man telling you, oh, what are we doing that over there? And then you've got the irrational kid doing silly things in other horrors. And then you got that one stoic kid who seems to be like maturer than his age. And I was thinking, oh, this is gonna be your bog standard horror. Oh no, it's not.
Entertainment. I feel like they do a really good job of building suspense and telling the story in like a really good order. They're promoting this idea of secrets and darkness, and you always feel it from the beginning. Even when he was having his weird dream, Ushio in his dream did something weird to him, like she touched his face, and then all of a sudden all of his dream was almost like one of those old TVs that get grainy. That was really entertaining because the whole way through you knew it was building up to something. You knew that something slightly weird was going on, but I didn't think that they were going to lean into it so heavily. So I like the surprises.
It's a slow burner. It's not one of those rapid pace sort of animes. It's building the suspense like Ruka said, but actually beat to beat is quite rapid. They manage pace in an opposite direction where the pace is slow but the beats are quick, and so you do get that suspense. And I really feel that at times it was a little bit too long. They were dwelling on things that I didn't feel were necessary until they became necessary. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. But probably they could have done a little better there.
Character development. Tetsu, who is the only police officer that's on the island, either is dumb or he's a criminal who covers his tracks poorly because there's no one who can stop him. I feel like they want us to believe that he's somehow criminally involved. He's the only person who we saw do a strange face towards the camera, and he was also covered in a red sheen of color, which indicates that he is a bad guy. I don't know if this is another misdirection or whether he actually is involved in some way that isn't related to the paranormal activity. We have not a main character, but a main focus, which is Ushio. She is ever present because this is her funeral. She's also been present in dreams and flashbacks as well. I feel like her character needs to be mentioned at least just because she's such a focal point. And Mio had said that she had seen her shadow walking around like after her funeral, but we actually didn't find her. We found Mio, which makes me wonder if there was two Mios, who exactly said what, who was the real one at the time at different periods. Was it always her saying certain things? I don't know. It just gives you extra thoughts. I thought that the little girl who had survived and who had stopped speaking was actually trying to keep quiet because she had seen the murder of Ushio. I still kind of feel like that. I still kind of feel like she saw what happened, and that's why her and her family have now been targeted. I like the whole idea of not knowing whether something is of a supernatural origin or a man-made origin, and I think these two things are going to mix, and it makes all of the characters more interesting, especially because all of the characters have a potential evil doppelganger running around. It makes everyone so much more interesting, and it also makes you question whether it's the real person speaking or doing a particular thing at any given time.
I totally agree with Ruka there, but I want to talk about that woman that Shin bumped into twice, I guess, and face planted her chest. Who is she? What is she doing here? And I need to know more. Like, what is going on here? Because as soon as we see her, she gives Shin a slap. I'm thinking, I thought that was a little bit uncalled for, because you realize he just woke up, he didn't know what he was doing, it didn't really deserve a slap, but obviously she was touched without her consent and whatever, so she's probably thought it's fine. However, then you hear later on during the anime, someone go, did you find what you were looking for? You know, that girl with the big knockers. And I was thinking, that was random because when I hear him say that, then it goes back to what Ruka was saying about the doppelgangers. Who said what and who said what to who? And then later on, I'm not going to spoil it for you. There were elements in it that I thought they did really, really well, and they kept so much mystery. I do feel they could have spoken a bit more about certain characters. Like, I want to know what happened to Shin when he was in Japan. A little bit more about this dark-haired woman. And I want to know why Mio is so quirky.
World building. Personally, this world, I think, is built quite well. You know that it's a very small town. They talk to you about how it's a tourist town and a fishing town, which makes sense. But also they show us that it's a small town in other ways, such as only having one police officer. A suspicious case being easily just sort of pushed under the rug. The way everyone seemed to know everyone, even though Shin had been away for 2 years, he recognized the little girl who had been saved by Ushio. So they did little things to make us see that it's small. Also, the police officer was also related to Ushio's family as well, so it gives you the whole sense that everything's small. Tetsu had been asked why he wasn't at breakfast at the diner. It gives you very small town, so I think that they did that perfectly.
So in terms of world building, yes, they gave us the whole idea of it being a small town, but that's all they gave us. They didn't give us too much in terms of the scenery. We saw it through the eyes of the people going through mourning and grieving. That's what we got from episode 1. Could it have been built a little bit better? In my opinion, yes, because at the end of the day, we should have seen more scenery. We did get a little bit of forest, I guess, and we got a temple, and we actually saw the map, but we didn't see it in detail. That will definitely come on during the anime, and we'll see more of the world that they have built. But they gave us a little snippet here. That's what I think they did.
Plot execution. So they've basically told us that Ushio has passed away. Her last wish within Shin's dreams was that she wanted him to protect her sister Mio. We can actually put some truth into his dreams, since this whole episode was basically a dream. We have been given the elements of either seeing the future or living the future and then going back into time. So we've already got these elements coming up, and we've seen one of the potential futures, which was terrible. Everybody dead. But he's got another chance to redo things, and now he knows that the dark-haired woman that you were talking about is of some significance, and he's got the chance to now save her and do things a little bit differently and possibly stop these shadows. Now that he's gotten some puzzle pieces, this anime is probably going to be like a Groundhog Day type of anime, where you see a lot of going backwards and forwards, or ReZero type thing.
Thank you. I needed you to say it.
But probably they won't take the same route.
Okay, so the fact that I don't know if this episode was all in his head or actually happened, and it doesn't piss me off, is a brilliant testament to the writing of these guys. They've done a very good job, because can you imagine? And it was all a dream at the end of it, and you're like, you know what, I just wasted my time. Now, in terms of the plot, I am not sure what's going on here. I don't know why he went back in terms of what he's going to do to fix this problem that could not be a problem at the same time. He went to bury his friend. He went to see them off. And now he's been thrust into supernatural hijinks.
Tell the verdict! Creativity, hot or not?
Absolutely hot. I love it. Hot.
It's a hot from me, very creative. Even though they've used redone tropes and they've used things that have been done a million times, they've still done it differently. They've made it fresh. Definitely a big hot. Entertainment.
I was so entertained that I couldn't stop watching it.
It's a hot from me. It was very entertaining. I was disappointed when it ended. I loved the pacing. I love what I've seen so far in terms of entertainment value. Kept my attention. Character development.
I feel every single character got the amount of stuff that they needed to further the plot. And so for me, it's perfect characterization. It's a hot for me.
This section, I feel like it could have been a little bit better in terms of the characters, but I'm still giving it a hot because I did get a feel for the characters, especially Mio, Shin, and So.
So, yep.
We've gotten the types of characters that they are, so yeah, I'll give it a hot. World building.
I know I ragged on it a little bit, but honestly, for the type of anime it is, it can't be anything but a hot. It's a hot. Look, it's a small town. They gave you small town. They even gave you maps. You don't need maps. They gave it to you. It's a hot for me.
It's a hot for me. I thought that they did a really good job. They gave you the great feeling of it being a small town. They gave you the feel of the weird superstitions that only the old people still speak about. I like where it's set.
Also, did you see the way that they had a strange speech pattern? Like, you can tell that they gave them sort of country vibes.
Plot execution, hot or not?
So I'm in an R-ing because of the 5% that this was all a dream. But I'm 95% hot, so it's a hot for me, to be honest. Look, how can this anime have me watching the whole thing and scratching my head at the end of it with 50 million possible ways it could have been sorted? And they gave me 50 million different plots. Yes, it's a hot.
It's a hot for me. I thought they did a really good job with this section as well. I enjoyed what they're promising as well as what they showed me. So yeah, me and Big Boy Sama have both gone for 5 out of 5 hots. So it's hot in every category. We recommend to give this a watch based off of its first episode. And on that note,
don't forget to like, subscribe and share.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
And if you made it this far, we really appreciate you. Peace.